the Champions League, the format known as the European Cup, is starting up. There's a completely new format this year. So I just want, there's the cup. Now, it's the original design. We know originally it was a straight knockout competition. Open draw, home and away leagues, knockout. There was no, you could play teams in your own country. In the early 90s, they changed it to group stages. And again, there was seeding, so the top teams were kept apart and in seeding. But now they're changing it for a third time. So just before we go into the groups this year, can you just maybe explain the changes to the listeners?
Yeah, it's a bit different from, I suppose, like you said, in the early 90s, that was known as the UEFA Champions League. That was in group stages. This is a little bit different, Paul. It used to be 32 teams in the Champions League, like normally, particularly if we take the case of even last year, just the normal group stages, it was 32 teams. Yeah, you were in a group with 3 other teams. You played them home and away, and then you got in. If you finished first or second, you got into the knockout rounds known as the round of 16, and the third place team used to go drop down to the Europa League. This is totally different. This is now a one league format. Is 36 teams from 1 to 36. You have the top 8 go straight into the next round of 16, and then the 8 after that have a playoff where they play in a 2-legged game. The play in the playoffs in January, and then from 28 down to 36, they're gone completely. So the first 8 go straight through to 16. The middle 8 go into the playoff, and the last 8 are gone completely. So if you finish bottom of the group, that's it. You're gone, obviously, and you don't drop into the Europa League. You don't drop into the Conference League. You have no European football pretty much after Christmas if you finish in the last 8 of this new league format. So I think I've seen a lot of people being confused how to describe the new format, but that's the way it is now. And look, this was done, Paul. If you may remember, a couple of years ago, there was this threat of the Super League.
Yep.
A lot of big British clubs, my own club Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City. I nearly forgot Man City. They all wanted to join this European Super League, and the fans went crazy because there was no promotion relegation to it. There was, you just bought yourself way in. There was no way. It was guaranteed money, basically, Paul, for 5 or 6 clubs.
In each of the top countries, was England, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and maybe 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, that's it. And fans were saying, "Look, this isn't fair at all." Basically, they valued it really in terms of entertainment for the fans. And you had a lot of. I remember Petr Cech having to come out outside Stamford Bridge trying to calm supporters down because they were saying this is nonsense. Well, fans wanted for the clubs to earn their right to play in Europe. They didn't want a guaranteed flow of money every year. So that was the way it was. That's the way it was. It was threatened. UEFA didn't like it, obviously, of course, because there's new competition breaking away from them. So they came up with this new format about a year ago to satisfy the big clubs, basically. More money, Paul. You play 4 games at home, you play 4 games away. There's no home and away. So, for example, AC Milan have Liverpool.
Sorry, no. Before we move on, can you see the graphic here of the 5 teams? So now it appears now that there's 4 home and 4 away games.
That's it, yeah. But you don't play each other twice.
Twice, yes.
You don't play twice.
You said they're all in one group. Which kind of a league? So there's 5. There's always leagues within the league. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You're seeded as well. So like, for example, they look at say Arsenal there. They've got PSG, Inter Milan, Shakhtar. Now they're playing very good teams, but then they're playing teams that are probably below their level as well. So look, Paul, I think basically all the top teams in Europe will still get through. And if they have this is an early protection way of, say, a couple of years ago, Paul, Barcelona didn't even get out of the group in the old format. I think they dropped down to the Europa League. Now, obviously, if they have a bad start, they can recover it. And if they finish in the top 8 or in the next state of teams, they're released into the playoffs. So basically, I think the top teams, if they have a poor run in Europe, they can still safely get into the playoffs at least, and there's no threat of them having no European football after Christmas. So
So,
I don't. I
no,
just say,
you know, sorry before we go on. So each team is guaranteed 8 matches, 4
that's it.
home, 4 away. But as you said, there's no home and away tie against the one team. So they're guaranteed
No,
8 matches like that. So, and again, they're seeded in such a way. But then it's all good. But then to follow it, you have to go onto this big league table of the 36 teams. And
yeah,
so to actually follow that in. So even though it's a league within a league, to get the top 8 or whatever the top qualifying thing is, to look at the big league table. So, my God, if I was trying to sit down and make it more awkward even to follow for the normal supporter, it's just like a maze. You know, to
yeah,
follow
yeah.
how your team is doing in the overall league. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Look, this is one thing that happened here with this, Paul, is money. Basically,
yeah,
more matches, more TV
yeah.
revenue, more money through the gates. It's all like
And more television money, of course, that's the big one. And the
that's
matches,
it.
first of all, the European Cup was on a Wednesday night. Then the Champions League came to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Are you now saying it's going to a Thursday night as well?
Thursday night as well. Yeah, I don't think any Champions League games, unless it's been obviously a game that might have been delayed through weather conditions or whatever, or crowd trouble, they would have to play a game on a Thursday. But this is, as far as I know, this is the first. I'm up to question, but this is the first time a lot of games will be played on Thursday night as well. So I think
And of course, no, that's for television coverage. They want matches on television, not alone around Europe, but people around the world can watch it. It's marketing. That's what as you said, no, money is behind it. That's what they're marketing outside in the Far East, outside in America, outside in China, India, all over the place. They want that with that.
But there's going to be so much football, Paul. You're going to be hard to keep up because you got the Europa League matches, of course, and then you got the Conference League matches, and they're in groups of 36 as well. For example, to show you how expanded this new format is in the 3 competitions, Chelsea, for example, are playing Shamrock Rovers at Stamford Bridge. I mean, Shamrock Rovers are a League of Ireland club. They were champions last year. They went to the qualifiers for the Champions League. Obviously, I think one round in the Champions League qualifiers. They got beaten in the next round, and then they were going to qualify for the Europa League, but they got, I think, Palka of a Greek side beat them. So then they dropped out to the Conference League group stage, 36 group, and it just happened to be that Chelsea win that. So that's how Chelsea are playing Shamrock Rovers now in the Europa Conference League. So that's how expanded this new format is, Paul. There's going to be teams in Europa League, Champions League, Europa League. Sorry, the teams you've probably never heard of, and they're going to be all it now. That's great for those clubs that are trying to get a bit of exposure, but there's so much football now, Paul, between the 3 competitions. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, and of course, no. Will this have an impact? Before we look at the groups here, just a final question: will this then have an impact in the domestic leagues? Because if you're playing all these games, the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, you're either playing Saturday or Sunday, then that you have to have a huge squad as well. And also, I believe, that the price of tickets for these matches are gone to the roof. There's talk, even people who had season tickets, they have to pay extra if they want to go and watch them. That the clubs are making money out of this way, hitting we call them the live supporters. It's a complete money, and unfortunately, the old saying was money makes the world go round.
Well, I'm afraid so, Paul. And you mentioned there about the European leagues. I think what most clubs, besides which focus on the 5 British clubs there, they would obviously want to get their job done now and guarantee themselves in the top 8. Obviously, because you're seeded, you don't have to go through a playoff in January. You can go straight into the round of 16 in February. They may try to get their business done early, and there could be a few dead rubbers near the end of the group, say the last 2 games, for example. If they're guaranteed into the top 8, now obviously you got the other clubs, the Spanish clubs and the German clubs want to be doing the same thing. So it is going to be competitive for that way. But normally, Paul, there's only a certain few clubs really that can win this competition, and you be expected them to see them in the top 8. There might be the odd surprise, but you will expect to see, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, at least in the top 8. Usual suspects, Paul. You expect to see them all in the top 8, and as I said, maybe if one has a bad run, you'll expect to see them in the playoffs at least. So it's nearly to protect the top teams, Paul, to be honest with you. Like, one criticism of the group stages was that we had a few dead rubbers near the end of the group, like say the last game or maybe even the second last game, where you could have Real Madrid qualify with 2 games to spare. You can always guarantee that this could happen the same thing here, because at least they have the safety net of the playoffs as well. So I don't know. I think you're you're going to have teams face each other at their level, yes, but then you're going to have teams. You know, you see Arsenal there. You expect Arsenal to beat Dynamo Zagreb and
Just before we move on, can we just go through the groups, Tim will say, and you have 4 home, 4 away, so you have to finish in so it's not finishing the top 4 of that group at all that matters. It's actually the overall thing with that. Is that the strange thing about it? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, you have to finish as long as you finish in the top 8, Paul, you're guaranteed to be in this round 16 next year.
The pool. It's the top 8 of the pool 36 team league. So even if you win 4 or 5 of your matches there, or 4 matches, would that automatically mean you get? So it's not actually top of that group. It's even though they're called groups, in reality they're not 5 different groups. I know that sounds crazy, but
yeah, it's all about a league format, Paul. As long as people can get their head around that, if you're in the top 8, you go straight through. It's a league format.
I know that's confusing.
If you're doing very well on your
8
side
matches.
In the 8 matches, you will be at least in the top 8. If not, you'll be the level below it. So
So no. Can we just go through the group?